Hello everyone, you're welcome to my channel. In today's video we're going to be continuing where we left off from last week, where we looked at data analyst portfolio, 5 in total. In today's video we're going to add in 3 more portfolios to that list, making it 8 in total. The reason why I chose these 3 particular portfolios is because they were quite peculiar, and I think it's the same thing that we can learn from it to make your portfolio impossible to ignore. So stick and stay, and let's jump right into the video. So the first portfolio on our list today would be from Quendeline Ugoma, and right off the bat I like the interface of the portfolio. It's pretty clean, straightforward, and good to go. And she is a data analyst skilled in Excel, Power BI, SQL. Okay, and you can also find her on LinkedIn, so please check her out if you want to. And so scrolling down, I can see right off the bat I can see her projects, right? So there is no about, which I don't think, well, it's fine to have an about section, but a portfolio shouldn't just contain your projects. If you ask me, it should be a well-rounded thing, right? So okay, there are your projects. So you have a project on supplier quality analysis with Power BI, with a bit of description there as well. And then we have Adidas, okay, and Lego. So these are 3 projects so far. Okay, and look, it seems that it ends here. Let's keep going through. Okay, the scroll keeps going, right? So I'm going to keep going and see what we have. Okay, we have the projects repeating all over again. Let me be sure this is Adidas. Okay, and I come up here again and I still see the same thing. So I'm just seeing the same 3 projects repeated at the bottom again, which I'm quite unsure why, but let's keep scrolling to understand more. Okay, so we have, this is not a project, it is more of a website template that has been left to everybody to see in the portfolio. Wait, does this repeat again? Oh no, so it keeps going all the way. I think I've seen this like 4 times already. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe I've even lost count, but your portfolio is endless with the same kind of items repeat all over again. I'm not sure if this is intentional or it's a portfolio that is still undergoing the process of becoming a portfolio. So please don't apply for jobs with this. I hope you haven't, because this is clearly incomplete, right? So you're going to assume that it's still under process, and so we'll just advertisement is already in there, right? Please don't use this for job applications, because it's clearly still undergoing a lot of changes, if you ask me. So let's start with the supplier quality analysis with Power BI, right? In this project, you identify top vendors, pinpointing materials. Okay, so let's click on view project and let's see what we have in here. Okay, so immediately as I click on view project, it takes me from the portfolio website to GitHub, which I think is fine. But once I get it in the past video, right, only share GitHub files to people who can understand GitHub, or else they're going to be thrown off and become confused, right? Which I advise to not even initiate in the first place, right? So let's continue with that and let's see. So here for this particular supplier quality analysis project, we have certain project images, and okay, let me look at the readme file here and see what we have. If you hear any background noise, I apologize. We have some church at the background, so forgive me for that in this video. But moving on, right, we have a description about the project, which I think is very, very important for your portfolio. Without that, it's basically copy and paste of a Power BI project. Nobody understands, but it is just there. So descriptions really, really work, right? So supplier quality insights project. Okay, And then supplier analyzes supplier quality data. The project analyzes supplier quality data. Okay. Project files, raw requests. Okay. Data preparation, initial requests. So what I see here is context about the project, and then we have how you prepared the data, right? The data cleaning, data preparation. Okay, that's very good. If you want time to take up this project to come and replicate, they can understand what exactly you did to get to the end. So I like that. Then we also have DAX. Okay, because it's a Power BI project, so you have to put in the DAX stuff that you use in there. Okay, that's fine. And then what you did in Power BI, what you found. And I think this is great Quindalin, but I think can also be improved exponentially, particularly because you started off on the right note and didn't exactly closed off well. And the reason I say this is because your project should have a way of bringing out what you found in the data, right? So yes, you found the top vendors, for instance, but who are they? Those would be your key insights, right? Your findings. And then the end, you now find out that, okay, out of the data that I found, what can I recommend for the business? Because in the long run, it is more about, think of it like this. I have found that there is gold in the ground. That is an insight, that's a finding. But okay, what recommendation can I give about this gold that has been found in the ground? Maybe open a gold manufacturing factory or gold polishing factory. What is the recommendation based on data found, right? That is what makes your project well-rounded and heavy, good to go, impossible to ignore the exact same things that you are trying to get for our projects in the first place, right? So I think that's what is missing here, the findings, the key findings, and linking it up to the recommendations as well, right? But you also have a PNG file here, so I'll quickly go through those images as well to see what we have there. So we have this. Okay, so what I see you've done here is your Power BI dashboard, right? And then taking screenshots of that to put in here, which I think is quite brilliant, right? What I don't think is advisable is the fact that there are multiple screenshots, so if someone wants to go through the entire dashboard, they have to go into it one by one, which can be a little tricky sometimes, particularly for people who don't have enough time to go through just one project, right? Remember, going to one project, I have to clicking on different things at a time. That's a lot of work for a recruiter, for instance, right? So let's keep going through and then see what we have here and scrutinize if necessary. Okay, so I like this dashboard very much, but then you see I'm zooming in very deeply for a reason, right? Because the problem with let me scroll through other images to show you. The problem with having images, right, of your dashboard for your portfolio is that the quality tends to be blurred out, right? For instance, I cannot read clearly if this is 18 million for the Mijo, right? Is this 18 or 16.2? Maybe you might see, right, but I may not, right? And the other numbers here, the whole point is that the images tend to blur out certain important information and takes away the beauty of the visualization you're trying to put together in the first place, right? Which is why I recommend the embedded media, right? So that way, yes, you have your images, but I can also see the work that you have done and actually interact with it to see if it is broken or not. Because there's one thing to have your project screenshots available on a page, and I think to actually have the project embedded in a page for me to experience it for myself, right? Because in the real life, people want to experience what you have put together, not just have screenshots of it, right? So yeah, multiple screenshots, which I think is fine, can be upped a little once you make it more interactive visualization, basically, right? And then also to work into the description, we could have improved it more by having it more detailed, right? Recommendations, what are the key findings, what are the key recommendations, right? To close that off beautifully too. So I'm going to go back again, we're already here, and randomly choose another project again. Since we already have 3 projects, just look at all the 3 and then give my take on it as well, right? So let's look at the Adidas project next. and it has the same as the previous, right? So there's a GitHub that can just be directed to right after I click on it, which is fine by me, as I keep saying. Now here, okay, so there's an Excel file, as you can see here. There's an image and there's a readme and a data set as well, right? So then look at the readme again. In the initial one, I spoke about how it lacked insights, how it lacked recommendations, but I had other important things like the context, right, and then the process of cleaning your data. So I'm hoping that this would have some of those components that it missed in the previous one. But let's see what we have here. So dashboard overview, total sales. Oh, this is much shorter than I expected. So what we even saw in the previous one is much longer. So what this gives us is the overview of the dashboard and what the repository contains, right? And then the total feature sales. I think what this particular description misses is a story, right? It feels like you have just dumped on information that was found, bits and pieces, but what is the story behind this? If let's assume, right, that the actual company Adidas saw this project, what would be their key takeaway from this? Would they be able to find that even in the first place, right? That's how you should be thinking. And when you're doing your portfolio, yes, it is true that you're not having the company to work with as a whole purpose in the first place, right? Show that they are business ready, right? And to show them that you're able to come up with actionable insights, tell business impactful stories about the data to inform decisions. If your portfolio is missing this, then what's your guarantee that can have that ready on the road job as well, right? And as the more that portfolio is even there to help you practice all of these things as you go, right? So this has missed that, and I think once we add that, it can make the difference that we want to see. Let's go to the picture. I suspect the picture would be a screenshot of the dashboard that was put, right? I was right. Okay. So yes, I did that dashboard. This was done in Excel. Okay. And here, I like the dashboard interface. The colors are really great. What I don't like is the cards that we can see at the top here, right? It is, even though it's supposed to feel intuitive, it feels like it was thought of at the last minute, right? In terms of the design, right? The numbers, the items here, the title and the numbers are the same font size and the font type. So I'm not sure of what you want me to focus to if I'm using this for monitoring purposes in the first place. This particular number doesn't have comma, so I'm not sure if it's an ID that was put here by mistake or it's an actual number, right? And once again, because I am not clear about the story in the description, I'm not sure of how to absorb this particular dashboard in the first place. Okay, which is one thing that we keep missing whenever you're doing our projects, right? Even me, sometimes I tend to focus so much on the design of the dashboard and the actual story I was trying to tell in the product, right? So if I had a story, if an idea what I'm trying to say about the project, then it will make more sense why you have this table and then also the bars there. It will make more sense because I don't understand. It feels to me more than like clutter than an actual story, right? Which also goes back to explain the point of why storytelling your data is very, very important, right? And similar to what I said earlier for the other one, I think it would have been more intuitive if you had the data in a more interactive form so I can experience and not just view what you had shared with me, right? So that'll be my take on this particular portfolio. Let's go to the final portfolio that we have here, which is the Lego data set. Let's view that. And okay, so this Lego reports Power BI. I have a comment, but I made the comment at the last minute, so don't worry. Let's see. I already spoke about the README. I'm hoping that this would have some difference. If not, we'll Quindalin will prepare towards it as well. So we go. Okay. So here it has a detailed overview. It has data preparation. Okay. Columns that were removed. Data profiling. Okay. price range, the DAX measures, visualization, total metrics. This in particular has key insights, which is something that the other two projects didn't exactly hold. So I'm impressed. It doesn't have recommendations, right? And that goes back to the point I was making earlier on. I see here that your findings were that you found that the Lego had some unique, about 4,300 unique Lego sets. That's fine. But if I'm a Lego company and I know I have this amount of Lego sets that are unique, right? So what do I use this for? What is the recommendation of this to me, right? No matter your project, always think around these things, that they are more aligned and equal in the same direction. Okay, that's very, very important. So yes, average number of pieces is 411, right? Okay, so do you understand? That's one question that data analysts, whenever they ask, and the answer makes them stand out, right? Because the truth is that if somebody takes your work, the same data set, and it's maybe high school and has some Excel knowledge, they can easily just write an average function, right? An average formula to know what the average of the Lego sets are. So what makes you stand out from that high schooler that knows how to use Excel, right? The difference there would be your ability to have critical thinking about the business problem and analytics, your analytical thinking to make gold out of the chaos that data always brings for a business situation, for instance, right? That is where you come in, and that has to be able to show up in your data, your projects as well. Okay. And one thing I also noticed is that all your projects in the portfolio do not have a streamlined approach, right? They're not having the same structure. One may have all the components and the other, and it's not exactly the best look, right? Because once again, I'm looking at all of these because it's key, and then we're having a video about this. But if a recruiter takes and look at it and just look at one of your worst projects, then that is all that's going to stick in their minds, right? So if you have a definite structure, make sure to stick with that and have that run through all the other projects in your portfolio as well, right? And they should be unique. And also please, I really hope you don't share this for your job applications because it's not complete yet, right? One thing I also like, I think I mentioned in another video, is that the titles, right? The titles can be done in a much better way. For instance, we have Adidas Retailers Sales Dashboard with Excel. Now, if anyone opens the portfolio, they can tell, it will be in a description, that you used Excel, right? Clearly, there's a dashboard, so you don't have to restate that again in the title, for instance, right? This is a mistake that I see a lot of people make that can be rectified, right? So a simple thing could be something like analysis of Adidas retailers sales, right? That's also a title, but more concise and then well informed, without the necessary part that's already obvious about the projects in the first place, right? I see this run through all so other projects as well that can obviously be rectified as well, right? And so if I were to rank this particular portfolio on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being the worst and then 10 being the best, I'll give it a 4 out of 10, right? Primarily because the project description is largely incomplete for all the 3 projects out there. I see that I did the work, but there's no clear story or recommendations for driving business action running through this project. And the portfolio website is fully not complete as well, right? That's why I gave it a 4 out of 10. I think once you're able to improve these things and do as I've said and shared in this video and other videos, you should be well on your way to have your portfolio closer to a 10 out of 10, right? So thank you very much, Queen Darlene, a beautiful name. Thank you very much for sharing your portfolio. And let's go on to the next portfolio on our list, right? I have the portfolios open here, so let's just jump to the next one. Let's see. This is a portfolio from Melvon. This is for Melvon Masheli. And this portfolio was made in Wix, which I think is pretty cool. I like Wix. I've had my portfolio on Wix before. It's pretty intuitive and easy to do once you know where to find your way at, right? So let's look at this. Okay, so Melvin is a data analyst, a data administrator. Okay, there keeps changing, but it's fine. I like it after. And then what she does is to diagnose data and prescribe insights. That sounds more like. It sounds more like It sounds more like a doctor, which I think is pretty cool, right? And then there's a stack. Okay, let's look at the top parts, right? Since the lower part keeps moving. So the home, we can meet Melvin, her project, her resume, the blog, and the contact. Let's go down to see what's available. Okay. So this is something about Melvin, and there is Avugzeni. Hope I pronounce that right. And that's a South African tongue for hello. Okay, so I have a new word, Avugzeni, everyone. And this is something small about Melvin. And I like this particular approach because it feels personal and it goes beyond just a normal portfolio that has your projects, right? It has a personal touch to it, and even feel like an interview before an interview. So before I even come and interview you as a recruiter for your work as a data analyst, I've already interviewed you on your platform, and this is you presenting your best self to me, and I'm already sold, right? So I like this very much, Melvin. This is pretty cool. Okay, and then there is a contact as well. All right, this ends the page, so let's just scroll up, and then these are that. That's just a home page, right? I think it's great. You can know about Melvin on the home page, find the contact, you're good to go. I think let's see what happens when I click on meet Melvin. Oh, okay, so meeting Melvin takes you to where I just saw earlier on. That's great. Personal touch. I'm to die for that, so I like that. Let's look out for Melvin's projects are here. And can I just say how much I love this particular portfolio interface? I love it so much because of how clean it is, right? It is very, very clean. And we have a total of 5 projects here. I'm not against project quantity. What I think is go as many as you can. What is important is it should be quality over quantity. Trust me, quality matters. Even if you have 2 projects and it's high quality, keep that. Don't try to ramp it up with so many projects that have no value, right? It's like giving gold to the hands of a poor man doesn't know how to use it to get out of poverty in the first place. Okay, but Melvin, this is a very amazing portfolio. Like aesthetics wise, excellent, powerful. Unlike the other portfolios that I've reviewed in the past, these titles are pretty much straight to the point and quite interesting. I mean, they are quite catchy. I'm not sure which one to start with. Okay, let's start with the first one. But I might say I'm very impressed with this portfolio, right? It's quite good. It has a context here about what the project is about. It's a very clean portfolio. I like it. Okay. Okay, so this is Bridging the Gap, a global analysis of medtech appliance accessibility and adoption. That's an interesting topic. Okay. It's a project overview. Okay, that's great. And report document. Wow. Okay. So it's a visualization here. I can click on. Okay. What else do we have again to see? There's also an Excel file here. I can view the data. Oh, right. So the Excel file automatically downloads. Now this is something that people don't exactly want to have on their PCs, right? So what I can suggest is that it's an amazing portfolio, by the way. What I would suggest is that you have a note or a reference at the top that tells you that clicking on any of these links may automatically download the document, right? So they are having that heads up. But let's see the Power BI. Okay, this is quite clean. Okay, this is what I was talking about, right? Unlike the earlier one. I'm not sure of this number, Melvin. This can be decimated properly. The decimal point here a little too much. For moments I was confused, right? this can be properly decimated. But overall, I think I like this portfolio. This project in particular is very clean. It's very straight to the point, and even for the media or the visualization for the project, I cannot just see pictures but actually interact. That's what I was referring to, right? They can actually click and see whether it is broken or not, instead of just having screenshots of the item. Because remember, if you have to do screenshots, what you share with me is just a screenshot of this entire page. But because I have the interactive media, I can just click on any area I want to see, just to figure out how this is working in particular, even if it is worth my time to have Melbourne employed for my company to have something like this done for me in the business, right? So I like this. Melbourne, this is really, really amazing. Let's continue and see. Okay. So she also this is an amazing portfolio. Okay, it has a data sources. That's smart. Methodology. Okay, I think there's a typo here. Should be method, not meta. Unless it's a different way of saying it. I don't know, but that can be changed. That's a problem at all. Then there are also results. Okay. Really? Okay. Okay. Wow. This one, I don't know, but honestly, you should have seen my first reaction when I opened this portfolio. I'm recording the second time I'm recording this video because I lost the footage for the first one. And when I saw this portfolio, I was more than surprised, because this particular portfolio, it encapsulates every single thing I'm talking about that every single data analyst needs to have for their portfolio. Like, this is it. It has recommendations, it has a conclusion, it has insights, it has the data source, it has the report document, it has an overview. Like, what more could you want for a portfolio than what Melbourne has put together here? It is literally the full package, if you ask me. Okay, so the last and final portfolio for this video's review would be from Felicia Pra, and I particularly love this, maybe just because it's from Wix, but also because of the interface. It is very intuitive and user friendly, right? And Felicia shares about herself. Okay, this is pretty straightforward. I like that. Okay. And here we can see Felicia Pra's portfolio website. Okay, what I would have changed here is that obviously we know the portfolio is on a website, so we can just take this part off, right, and just have it as Felicia Pra. But whether I keep this here or not, there is no change. I think this page is pretty clean and straightforward. You see that it ends here, so it forces you to navigate to other pages as well, which I absolutely love as well. So let's check out Felicia's project and see what we have here. Now, you may already have opened some tabs here. That's because I've already tried to look at the other portfolios, right? But my footage keeps getting lost, so we have to start all over again. But when I opened the Korean drama analysis project, right, one thing that occurred to me in particular was that even though it had everything from the beginning: objective, overview, data source, a link, analysis, and the dashboard, what it missed here was the finishing touch, which was the recommendations and then the conclusion, right? Because you have found something, yes, we know, but what do you recommend based off what you have found, right? It is that one thing that separates you, your work, from that of somebody who already know how to use the tool, right? You give meaning to the tool in the first place. Another thing about this particular portfolio would be the visuals, right? Because I think this can be cleaned up properly to make it more intuitive. Something like the axis name title here and here can be easily removed. This can be easily removed just to clean up the chart and make it much better, if you ask me. And I think it's the same run across all the visuals here as well. And you see, even though these are very trivial things, they are the little things that contribute to making your visual either too overboard or cluttered or just not nice to look at or want to. drive insights from, right? And I particularly learned this from a YouTube channel called Storytelling with Data, which I think is amazing, and you have to check that out, right? So that's my little 2 cents on this. But so far, the beginning is pretty great. I'd have just loved if you refined the ending as well to wrap up the entire story of your analysis in this particular project, right? But kudos to you, Felicia. Well done. I reckon yes. So this also, you also have a PB. You have a PNG. Let me just confirm. Okay, that's a Power BI file, right? But this one allows me to download automatically. But here's the thing: not everybody wants to download a document. I think I keep repeating this over and over and over again. So it'll be more intuitive to have this as embedded media, so that I can just interact with that as I go, instead of clicking through downloading multiple files. Just look at your visual in Power BI desktoping. It's a lot of work, basically, right? Yeah, so that's what I have to say about particular projects. Apart from that, I think we are pretty good to go, Felicia. And let's move on to the next, right? We have video game sales analysis projects. So for this particular one, let's see. So we have video game sales, objective, project overview, questions asked, temporal analysis, regional analysis, top performers, regression analysis, publisher influence, data source, data tools, data analysis, data visualization, picture of the dashboard. Okay, so here, unlike the other one where you had the visuals separated, this is embedded in here. I think this is much better, right? It helps with the story flow. I like this, Felicia. This is much better than me having to read everything here and now going back to the picture, right? So we're going to look at it all over again, right? I mean, this is really smart of you to have put in here. You also have insight. I think unlike the other one, you didn't have insight here. I don't see recommendations. Okay, I think I see some recommendations here, but then they are mixed up with I think this is a recommendation, right? That to maximize marketing departments yes. So this is a recommendation, right? This is a recommendation as well. So what we can do is have insights and recommendations from the analysis, right? So that it helps wrap up the story together. I think that this one in particular is much different from what I saw earlier on in your portfolio. And that's one thing I want us to avoid, right? You should always try and have the same structure run across every single project in our portfolio, because if someone has to look at one portfolio teaching about you and they chose the first project, that would have been the end of it, right? And that one job opportunity or whatever chance that were coming your way would have just vanished, just because you don't have the same structure following through, right? And even though you have the image in here to make it much better, I think it would have been much better as well to add up the embedded media as well, instead of a separate PNG or the same thing I'm seeing here like on the other page, right? Apart from that, I think this portfolio too is pretty, it's nice, it's good, it's great, right? But let's please try have the same structure run across all of them, right? Let's look at the next and final project in Felicia's own, and that would be the JC Penny, right? Now, for this particular one, I've tried my best to wrap my mind around it, and we only have two. We have CSV file and a README file, and then here is a description about the project, right? Now, when I saw this, I was pretty much very impressed, particularly because it is very detailed, unlike what I've seen in the other projects, right? So here you have project title, the problem that you are trying to solve. So it didn't follow the usual structure of overview and then like the data cleaning up. It actually gave a structured way of telling a story, right? That's also another thing, right? The fact that I'm asking I do overview every single time does not mean that you should always start with overview, right? The goal is tell a story, and to tell a story, ideally you need context, which should be overview, right? By seeing Felicia's own first particular project, she started with the problem, right? Which so in a way gives you an overview about the business and then the project in perspective, right? Then data analysis, the key insights, trends and patterns, why it matters, why you should care. It feels more personal at this point, right? The solution, recommendation. So you see here, what you did differently here was that apart from sharing with us the insights or mixing it up with the insights, you separated the insights from the recommendation, which once again helps the storytelling to become very, very clear, right? What I was a little confused about here was why it is showing the code form instead of a preview form, because it would have been great to see the screenshots, like the Tableau dashboard, and also the visualization to the link to the, it wraps up the entire story. I'll try and possible best to figure out where I can see like the previewed form, but all I can see here is the code and then the blame. And this is one thing I was trying to talk about in all the video shots until now, right? That if the person is not a GitHub person, you may struggle. And currently, I am struggling, right? I can't tell to a date if I'm having a problem or it is from your end as well, right? So there's that part of the game that we have to try and improve to make our portfolios not just good enough, but impossible, as I keep saying, to ignore, right? So given all of this, right, how would I rank this particular portfolio for Felicia? I would rank this portfolio on a scale of 1 to 10. I would rank this portfolio as 6.5 out of 10. 6.5 because the Wix interface is very clean and clear. The portfolio has a definite structure in the beginning, but almost all does not complete very well, right? And also it doesn't have a clear structure. Doesn't have a clear structure across all the 3 portfolios I've looked at in the past. The ways are different way of approaching things, and it can cause confusion and even discarding in the early stages, because one person look at your bad portfolio and instead make a decision about you, right? So that's all I have to say for Felicia, and thank you very much, Felicia, as well, for showing your portfolio.